Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LTG show. This is episode number 222. My name is Sean Wilburn,
I'm Tony Hannity's.
and we are here to talk about technology and all the good tech news of the week. Now, we are part of a website that is called LazyTechGuys.com. We love for you, encourage you to come visit that website. You'll find tech news, mobile news, also information in video games, and a lot more. So we always encourage you to come down and check out LazyTechGuys.com. Now, if you'd like to shoot us an email, you can email us at comment@LazyTechGuys.com, or you can give us a call at area code 707-722-5299. Now, this is a live broadcast that we like to do on the Google Hangouts. We're running this at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday nights. So if you happen to be up at those nights and you're up and you're ready to go, then why don't you come join us? And if you are joining us, why don't you go ahead and participate by shooting us questions in the Q&A, which is always open. We love to hear from you, answer your questions on the spot. Yes, we do not waste any time. We're like quick service, almost like what, a fast food place, maybe, that kind of fast here, or not quite that fast, maybe.
I don't know. I've been to some fast food joints and they've been very slow.
I've been to I had some experiences that something I'm just like, are you guys even cooking?
I know, right? The McDonald's over by the Target here in Vallejo. There was one time I'm like, there's like 5 guys back there, and all I wanted was some French fries for my daughter. What the heck? And I swear to God, they were playing like Clash of Clans on their phone. I mean, they weren't, but they could have been because it was taking so freaking long. I'm like, I've never worked at a fast food, so I can't really judge how like the timing works and everything. But I know that timing is everything, and they failed on timing. So
you also know that you've eaten McDonald's and ordered fries enough times to know that it doesn't take quite this long.
I hate to admit that, but you're right. Yeah,
there's a point
you're
of
very
saying,
right.
All right, 15 minutes, you guys. No, 20 minutes. Okay. Anyway, all right. So without talking bad about fast food places, we're here to talk about technology. Tony, any information before we get started here you'd like to share? Any handouts, any giveaways, anything you want to say?
We had a giveaway,
We
and
did.
that went spectacularly well, and that was the Halo Journal as well as the Halo poster collection. And a lot of people entered it, and one person won by the name of Jeffrey Chen, and I think he's already being sent the posters as we speak by carrier pigeon. It's a very strong carrier pigeon. In any event, though,
We've been working out.
I know, right? Dude, talk about lifting. No, but we do plan on doing another giveaway sometime soon. Not exactly sure what it's going to be. It might be another code to Windows 8. It might be a product of some sort that a lot of you are clamoring for. It might be something as simple as just a gift card, but let us know if you want us to do a giveaway, something that's feasible between 4 guys that have jobs and family, and we don't normally get handouts from companies. We're very indebted to Insight Editions for allowing us to do the giveaway with them, but generally these giveaways are from our own pocket, like the Windows 8 codes that I have. So, but yeah, keep an eye out on LazyTechGuys.com and our Twitter account, because that's usually where we make the big announcements.
Awesome. Well, I also just wanted to say that we have an upcoming review that I have going on, the Sack It Woof It.
Woof it.
Woof It.
Woof it.
Woof It.
Woof it.
It's like this little Bluetooth speaker that looks like this thing here. It's like this aluminum kind of outing thing. Has a speaker in the middle, a bunch of little connections on the side, including a power. Would you believe it? SD card, even a little USB port that you could plug an antenna in that it comes with and have this thing tuned into radio. So it's a very interesting little Bluetooth speaker. We'll be noodling this and expect on LazyTechGuys.com a review of this little Woofit very, very soon. So
see, in my head I hear whip it. So woof it. Woof it good.
Holy crap, what's this?
Did Sean find something amazing?
So, no. Sorry, never mind. Just something, a feature of the thing. I just realized.
It's like, wow,
very
this
good way of
transforms
preventing
into
it
a
from.
robot.
Nope, just something good that prevents it from sliding around. Very good. Very
That's
well.
good. It's
Okay.
good.
Anyway, we got technology, we got news, we got other things we want to talk about today, and let's start
Yes,
off
we do.
this show talking about something even that kind of got me. Chromebooks that Google might be working on a 2-to-1 Chromebooks or kind of 2-to-1 features within Android. Tone, what do we got?
Yes, so there's been a report from Digitimes that came out recently, and Digitimes isn't the best source of news, but they are about maybe 60-40 when it comes to being on point with rumors. And according to them, a company called Quanta Computers is working with Google to create the very first two-in-one Chromebook. And so for those of you who don't know what a two-in-one is, the best example would be the Surface, or one of examples. And the Surface, or as Microsoft likes to call it, Surface, is one of those tablets that can be connected into a keyboard. And although it wasn't a runaway hit at first glance, it had a number of iterations. On the Surface Pro 3 right now is one of the top-selling two-in-one devices that are on the market today. Google is possibly going to dip their toe into that market and create a Chromebook that would be a Chrome OS operating system, a Chrome OS experience when it's docked into the keyboard, but when you detach it, it's an Android experience. And this kind of makes sense to a certain degree. First of all, Chrome and Android are led by the same guy, Sundar Pichai. Second of all, there have been moves to run Android applications on Chrome. Very few application developers have taken advantage of this, at least publicly. But I know one of the first was Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, Evernote, if I'm not mistaken. And the question to me is, like, how is this really going to work? Because this is something that Windows did with, rather Microsoft did with Windows 8. And how you feel about Windows 8 personally as a market share, it did not really take hold, unfortunately. Windows 8.1 was better, but it was still more tile-based interface and not as desktop friendly, because people were expecting to use a mouse and keyboard desktop. When it comes to this, people might not have any expectation, because Chrome, although Chrome OS is more desktop friendly, some could argue that you can use it with a touchscreen, i.e. the Chromebook Pixel, it has a touchscreen. And Android, of course, it's a touchscreen interface. I mean, that's its bread and butter. So being that, with Android, they are killing it in the tablet market overall, and kind of marrying that with Chrome OS, which is doing pretty well. I mean, when it comes to the amount of Chromebooks sold versus the amount of entry-level Windows devices sold, Chromebook definitely is in the top echelon of those sales. But the argument could be said it's more so of just pricing and not so much productivity and yada yada yada. That is one of the biggest things for me. Like the transition, does this mean that I can run all of my apps on the Chrome side? Like when I dock my Android tablet into the keyboard, will my Android apps like Instagram and I don't know, another Android app, like some of my Android games, will they automatically just kind of close out and I can't use them on the Chrome side? Like it's those kind of UI interfaces, user experience, UX that kind of baffles designers left and right when it comes to these two-in-ones. I'm not saying that Microsoft has completely found a reasonable solution, but Windows 10 is attacking this at full strength with their idea of continuum, where taking the Surface, for example, when it's docked, it acts like a regular laptop, and it's more desktop friendly, and you won't necessarily see the tiles more so than you would see the desktop with the start menu and everything. Once you undock it from the keyboard, then a little notification in the lower right-hand corner will pop up saying enter tablet mode, and you can say yes or no. When you say yes, it will go full screen, and then when you go to the start menu or start screen, then you'll see the more tiled interface. But then that just means everything is more touch friendly. I have yet to personally really try that out on my Surface. I'm not, full disclosure, the Surface that I'm using is given to me by my employer, and I'm not allowed to put the technical preview on there. Thus, I would lose my job if I did. But from the people that I've talked to and seen online, they said it's a pretty interesting experience. And more things are to come when it comes to finding out a little bit more about this. But Sean, what do you think? Do you think Google needs to get into this two-in-one business, or is it kind of a niche market, small enough where they can kind of separate and just continue doing what they're doing?
Um, I'm happy they're doing it. I guess I don't know. It just seems like a business move, and that they could possibly make some money on it. No one else, someone else is doing it. Okay, they could probably come in and come out with a lower price point, take care of a need. Why not?
Yeah,
As
and I
far
was
as I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's as far as the entire integration on it, like you were describing, I expect them to have a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, especially at the start, just like the other, like when Windows do. Actually, a few more because it is Android, and Android already has a lot of parts that they're kind of patching together to make this stuff happen. And to mix it with Chrome is like, oh, great, there's something else that you're kind of patching together, and now you're going to put them up. But to be honest, to have the same guy in charge of both teams tells me right off the bat that they probably have some plan in motion. Maybe at the deal with the convergence, they have some plan in their mind of that kind of works a similar way that allows it to work in more desktop features the same way. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm sure they have a plan in motion already. I'm just kind of curious on what they're going to come up with. I'm just going to hold my like skepticism, or actually I'm just going to hold back until I just see exactly what they develop before I just like throw it in the fire.
Yeah, I have a number of questions too. Like for example, you pointed out, Sean, what would the price point be? I mean, as it is, Chromebooks are kind of known to be the more affordable, cheaper alternative to the full-on Windows laptops, in addition to like auto updating, not necessarily having to save anything, no viruses and things like that, but they generally tend to be around the $250 range. Like other than the Chromebook Pixel, the most expensive Chromebook right now to date, I think it's like only $300, which is pretty good. In addition to that, a fairly decent Android tablet, a 10-inch tablet, can run you anywhere between $250 to $350 with a fairly decent screen, good quality sound system, not sound system, but good quality specs with RAM and the memory capacity. So, but as it is right now, though, for that same $200, you can already get a two-in-one from Microsoft. So are they already gonna kind of shoot themselves in the foot price-wise, or are they gonna have to take a loss to kind of compete in that market? I don't know, but I'm definitely eager to see what Google has planned in their roadmap. We'll probably find more out about this as time goes on, but keep an eye out at Google I/O.
Mhm. Well, Fido is actually not a puppy, as you were said in this little article, but looks like Microsoft is going to be supporting a new security measure in Windows 10. Looks like this is going to be one that's even faster than the others. What do we got going on here?
Yeah, so as Sean alluded to, the name FIDO stands for Fast Identification Online. So keep your dogs at bay. FIDO is not open source, but it's an open initiative. So companies like Google, Microsoft, and even Bank of America have all agreed to use FIDO. And right now, version 1.0 is being used. And Microsoft has announced that FIDO version 2.0, I guess, will be integrated into Windows 10. What does this mean? This means basically that when you're using Windows 10, instead of having to type in a password to your Microsoft account, you'll be able to use biometric sensors like fingerprint scanners that come on the iPhone 6, and possibly even retinal scanners that the future computers would have as well too. I've actually seen a retinal scanner at Fry's. I think it's like $300, but it's this kind of little coaster thing that you would put presumably on your desk, probably a little bit higher up than normal, keep it at eye level, and you can just kind of look at it, and it takes just a few seconds, and it would unlock your computer. I have a biometric scanner on my HP right here. I use it my fingerprint to scan in when I log in, instead of typing in my 13-digit password that I keep forgetting what it is. Thank you, LastPass. But yeah, I mean, this is just another kind of step into the world where we don't have passwords. The kind of issue that I have is, when we have a password and we have solutions like LastPass can pretty much give you unlimited variabilities of possible passwords that you can use for your accounts. But if you're using biometrics, you have a limit. You have 10 fingers, unless you have 8 fingers if you don't count thumbs as fingers, and you have 2 eyes. So does that mean, and this might be a naive kind of way of thinking of things, but does that mean that only up to 10 phalanges can be used, and you've got your 2 eyes to be used, so you really only have 12 accounts, and then any more accounts that you use, you're going to have to double it down again, and thusly you could feasibly have 3 different websites that you sign into using your index finger, each of them. So my index finger could unlock my bank, my Google account, as well as my 401k. I mean, isn't that just as bad as having the same password? Or is it still secure because it's your finger?
Just because no two people have the same fingerprint that it makes it automatically secure.
Yeah, but they've still showed that fingerprint copying is possible. It's arduous.
It's just I think it's just a matter of how they get the readers to do it. Like, if it's in a thing that allows people to easily copy it and put a fake fingerprint on something to see if it works, or like when they were doing the iPhones, when they were getting those fake fingerprints and doing that, if it goes that serious when we're doing our finances, they're going to get more serious than that. But if it's just like, I mean, I would hope that when you go to your bank and you just put your fingers, your hand on there, and you put your handprint on there, and it reads your whole entire biometric hand, that it says, oh, yeah, no problem, we know that's a real person with a real hand, not like a fake person with some handprint thing on it. And at the same time, just like thieves now, if someone really, really wants to get into your account, they're going to get into it.
They're going to get into it. Yeah.
They'll figure out a way. I don't know. So I don't know. I saw this. I was like, all right, this is interesting. We'll see more security, more thing. I'm more interested in this watch that this LG has announced, just because, I mean, Tony, this is some pretty cool looking stuff here. They got a new watch. What is it called? The Urbane or something?
I guess that's the proper pronunciation. I'm sure people would just call it the Urban, but yeah,
Oh God, don't call it the Urban.
The LG Watch Urbane is really just a reimagined LG G Watch R, and not to say that's a bad thing. The LG G Watch R is a really phenomenal Android Wear device for the price point and for its design, but it's plastic. This one is solid. Well, not solid. Well, yeah, it's stainless steel. I'm sure it's solid to a certain degree. It's stainless steel. It comes in both silver and gold. It's not real silver and gold, but it's color silver and gold. Also comes with a genuine leather watch band. So it's very luxury kind of oriented, a little bit more high class. It has a heart rate monitor, and it runs Android Wear. The display, all the specifications, as you'll see in the post here, they are exactly the same as the G Watch R. So why do this? Well, really just because the G Watch R was more of an active looking watch, like you would wear when you're going biking or something, and it didn't necessarily have that appeal to someone if they wanted to bring it to a dinner party. This watch, the Urbane, definitely does. And you can swap out the bands if you prefer to have a metal band instead of a leather band. So we're still unclear about the price point and everything regarding this watch and actually when it's even coming. But assuming that it's close to be around what the current LG G Watch R is, which I believe is like $250, that's still a really good price. And again, the thing about Google's Android Wear watches is that they're all the same interface. I think LG can put their own apps in there and things like that, but when it comes to the actual interface, they're all the same. So it really comes down to the hardware. And this watch has a 1.3-inch P OLED. It's plastic OLED display. It's 320 by 320. And, up close, it is fairly pixelated on a watch. And so, unfortunately, these screenshots that they've given us are a little bit of a lie. They're really 1600 by 1600. 320 by 320 is a little bit more pixelated in this. But still, even with that being said, I can't wait to actually see this in person. I've seen the G Watch R up front, and I was very impressed with it when I first saw it. So, and Sean, I'm a watch guy. So if I had the cash to just kind of throw down, and I could choose between this and the G Watch R, I'd probably go more for this because this definitely looks a lot better. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Very
slimmer, nice colors.
leather
Just
band.
yeah. I'm assuming like the battery and everything, the interfaces. Well, like I said, the interface is fine. It's the same. I'm assuming the battery is going to be the exact same experience, and hopefully better as Android Wear gets better. But even with all this announcement with the new Android Wear watches and everything, the question is like how well did Android Wear do in its first year in existence? And according to an I guess they are an analysis company. They do analytics. Uh, they are called Canalys.
You sure
Okay.
that's not like a drug that they're trying to sell me that's going to give me diarrhea, but
I don't
also
think
resolve
so. Side effects may include diarrhea after reading this article. No, so Canalys did a report on the amount of Android watches that were shipped in 2014, and they have shipped just a little over 720 Android Wear watches. And some people might say, "Wow, that is horrific," and some people might say, "Wow, that's not too bad." We have to be aware that Android Wear didn't really hit its mark.
Yeah, we have to be aware that Android Wear. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Android Wear as a platform didn't really hit the public until, let's be honest, until the Moto 360 came out. Because yes, the G Watch came out at Google I/O as well as the Samsung Gear Live. Both of those were not very good watches. I mean, some people like them. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna like completely trash them, but really, the majority of people were waiting for the Moto 360 from Motorola because of great marketing. It really came down to amazing marketing, and it finally came out, but it was in like it was kind of hard to get at first. Now it's ubiquitous. You can pretty much get it anywhere, even like Walmart, and I think they have it at Costco now too. And but that wasn't until like later on, like maybe I want to say September, October, and yeah, when that finally came out, people were finally starting to wear them. And on top of that, the Moto 360 had some battery issues in the first few weeks. They fixed it, and here we are in 2015, and yeah, Android Wear isn't necessarily growing like exponentially. It's not anything that you can write home to, but it's not dead. It's not a failed product. And the thing about it too is that this is the first version of Android Wear. This is their first attempt at Google getting into the wearable game. And although people might be very critical of Android Wear, saying that it really doesn't do anything for my everyday life, it still hits home on the points that that the Apple Watch is that's gonna hit, notifications and being able to talk to it, navigation, things like that. And I was listening to another analyst, and they were saying, this is the first of Google's wearables, just like I said. Look at Apple's first attempt at the MP3 player. Now, that MP3 player, the iPod, it only worked on Apple. And then years later, when they opened it up to Windows, it sold way more than anyone could have ever thought. Android Wear only works with Android, and arguably, although the majority of the world has Android, it's at a higher price point than most of the kind of wearables that you might find out there in the world, the Fitbit, the Jawbone Up, and things like that. So the question that I have, even with all being said, it wasn't a like home run without sugarcoating it. It definitely wasn't a home run, but I think it's a good first step. The question is, because in this article they were kind of comparing it to the amount of iPhones that were sold during that time, which is very unfair because that's kind of comparing apples to oranges, no pun intended, because those are phones that people already know. They already have the experience of an iPhone, and now we have watches, the smart watches that are very new to that category. So there's some hesitation to put money into that. As awesome as it may be, there's still hesitation. I had hesitation when I bought mine, but So that's kind of an unfair comparison. The comparison that we're going to want to see is, how is Apple going to do at the launch of the Apple Watch? And according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, Apple has ordered about 5 million Apple Watches to be sold once they finally launch it. And according to 9 to 5 Mac, let's see here, about 50% of those are going to be the Apple Watch, the standard Apple Watch. 33% of those are going to be the Apple Watch Sport, which is a little bit more expensive one, and then 17% of those are going to be the Apple Watch Edition, which is the $4,000 model. So Apple is definitely very excited for the upcoming launch of the Apple Watch, and there's also been talks that they're going to manufacture about 1 million of these per month. I don't know if that number's right, but they're going to manufacture about 1 million of these per month after the first 5 million go out. So, yeah.
All right. Well, can I add something to it? And hey, within that 7200, not that article, sorry, the WSJ article there, click the first link that says the WSJ revealed tonight. So for everybody who's looking to get an Apple Watch, apparently Apple has cut a lot of features from the health portion of the watch because, well, for different reasons. Reasonings why are the features we're making here because some of them proved too complex. Some of them just didn't work properly. Some of them they had to get required regulatory approval. And the features that we're talking about looks like the heart rate activity, the stress levels, and the tracking blood pressure features. So those features within the Apple Watch that they were showing off are not going to make it in the initial Apple Watch, just for everyone who's looking to know. So I do wonder when this information does wake it out, if that will affect anybody's desire to want to buy the watch, or if people are like, I don't care, I'll just get it anyway.
I just find it funny. There's just that one guy who's like, "Oh man, I was really excited to share my heart rate with my friends."
Well, you remember that it's one of the features of this. Like they talk about all the health features, and it's just like, well, this is kind of like the heart rate monitor. You can check your blood pressure, and they advertise and say, hey, you can do that. It's just not going to make it. So I see that in here, and I'm like, everybody, if you're looking at getting an Apple Watch, FYI, this ain't going to happen. At least not immediately. Maybe in the second generation, the Apple Watch 2.
Yeah, I mean, Samsung is attempting this with their I forget what they call it. It's not from Samsung Mobile. It has nothing to do with Android Wear. But it was that press event that I went to in San Francisco at the San Francisco Jazz venue or whatever, and they had a watch band that could do all this. It could measure blood pressure, heart rate, cholesterol, the amount of oxygen that's going through your skin and everything. But they had like the Mayo Clinic behind them. They had a bunch of like researchers behind them, and it was a full-fledged health-oriented wearable. It wasn't like a consumer device. And so for those things, I think that that would be a little bit better and a little bit more feasible to come out into the market a little bit sooner, because they have so much backing behind them, financially, that they can push this through with the FCC and whoever else regulates this sort of thing. Whereas Apple trying to do that on a consumer-facing watch, maybe not. Maybe they have to jump through a few more hoops, and like you said, maybe sometime later on next year, or maybe it's just a firmware upgrade that sometime later on this year, like they'll say over the summer, hey, now your watch can do your blood pressure. Because we have the sensors in there, it just turned off because the regulators told us to turn it off. But now we can turn it on.
Actually, it just seems like they kind of bit off more than they can chew, honestly. I mean, they were saying how one of the problems they have is people with hairy skin and people with dry skin and people with like wet, like oily skin. Since it all reacts differently, they couldn't find a way of consistently getting all that to stick for all of them.
It's interesting also, there was a report that went over the weekend, and I forget who did, I think it was the BBC, and they compared all the popular wearables that could like track steps, and how your phone can
Oh
also
yeah.
track steps. And didn't the end result come to that the phone was more accurate than any wearable?
I actually don't remember. I saw it. I didn't actually read the story, but I
Okay.
sent you the link of the CNET article that has more of the details on the everything they're nixing from the smartwatch that Apple's
All right.
removing
Yeah.
from. But yeah, so just
Cool.
right. It just if you're looking at getting that one, just FYI, double check to see what feature is going to be on it. I know that I met people when the iPhone first came out. They're like, you can't really do text messaging. Oh, I'll deal with it. All right, well, fine, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I
I
know.
know there'll
I
be
know.
people who do the same with this.
Yeah.
But, if you are one of those people who's like, oh wait, I do need that. I am buying it for this feature. Hey, yeah, hold off. Hang on. Not gonna happen. So.
Yeah. I know. Rad gives the first buyers of the iPhone a lot of hard time because they couldn't do the simplest things like cut and paste and stuff. But in the wearable market, it's everything's so new that even if you were to not have a heart rate monitor or not have, I think a heart rate monitor is not too much to ask for, to be honest with you. Just because it is becoming a little bit more ubiquitous when it comes to these wearables. But things like being able to check your cholesterol and your blood pressure, I don't think that's a necessity right now. But as time goes on, it's going to be something that you expect. Like you expect your phone to have Bluetooth now. Back in like 2007, it was rare to find, or 2006, it was rare to find a phone with Bluetooth. And if you did, it was usually like a Palm Pilot.
Yeah,
Now
but
it's like now it's becoming like you have for you to sell your phone, you have to have Bluetooth. And so in the near future probably, in order for your smartwatch to be of any value, it has to be able to do these certain things. Right now, it's these companies are kind of treading the water just to see, like you said, if people care or if they don't, and they'll just live with it.
well, in this case, Apple said they're going to do these features and they can't do it, and now they're just secretly saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, don't, yeah, we're not going to be able to do it." But anyway, hey, the watch is coming out, guys. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
going to be able to do these. Hey, anyway, the watch is coming out. So I'm like, no, no, tell people what it's not going to do. Anyway, let's take a break here. Thank our sponsor, which is Audible.com. Now, if you can, go to your URL, type in audibletrial.com/lazy, because if you do, you can go ahead and get to try out audibles.com's quite a killer audiobook service. Now, this is simply what it is. It's a cool service. It goes monthly. When you're a member with it, every single month you get to choose from 150,000 books, and we're talking new releases, all different types like history books, bestsellers, mysteries, thrillers, romance, business, fiction, self-development, all different types of books. They have apps available, so all different types of phones out there, Android, iOS, as well as Windows. You can go ahead and download the phone. And then when you're a member, what happens is you get a chance to listen to professionally read audiobooks, and you get a free book every month. You get discounts on other books that you buy, and you get to listen to, well, stories in our busy lifestyles. While you're commuting, go ahead and you can listen to a book instead of listening to I don't know, you don't have to listen to the same album every single time, no, throw a book on, hear a great story, learn a little something about history, learn a little something about like a foreign language, quite a few other things. When you're a member also, you get a chance to exchange books if you find ones you don't like, and if you don't like it, you actually get to cancel at any time. So we want you to use this URL here to try out. It's audibletrial.com/lazy. Once again, audibletrial.com/lazy. Use that URL, sign up. You get to be a member for 30 days. You get a free book, and you get to enjoy all those little perks and enjoy, well, audiobooks. And yeah, we're talking to bestsellers, new releases. It doesn't matter if you're just thinking of it. You're 50 Shades of this, you're American Sniper that, whatever you want. Yes, those are the books that you will find in there. So audibletrial.com/lazy. All right. Now this
All right.
happened to be the coolest thing I've seen of all time.
Yeah.
All right, so the good old-fashioned ViewMaster that we all, well, not we all, but that many of us older generation grew up using and everything, and I mean older is probably people older than 35, 36 most likely. The ViewMaster is getting a Google VR makeover. Tony, you're a cardboard man. What do we got going on?
Yeah, so you know what? I still have my cardboard here. Actually, let me unshare it. Yeah, so I still have my Volvo cardboard here. And truth be told, I haven't played with it too much, but My daughter used it the other day, and I don't think she actually understood what was going on, but she sure loved it. But the thing about cardboard is Google they don't make any money on the actual hardware whatsoever, but it's really the software and all the apps and the blueprints of making your own cardboard is out there, and Google partnered with the likes of Mattel to bring you the new and improved ViewMaster. The way that this works, that you will clip in your phone. And the nice thing is, Google said that it will work on a number of phones, including the iPhone 6 Plus, which is really cool. They're taking into account larger phones. You clip in your phone, you launch the app. There's going to be a Mattel app that will allow you to do virtual reality, and there also looks to be a head strap as well too. And then, as you can see by the photos here, bring up photos. Okay. There's the little cards. So if you are from the 80s and you remember these little cards, you would put it into your little plastic ViewMaster, and then you would click the button on the side. It was kind of a slide button, and it would switch the card like on a carousel, and it would show you like 3D stereoscopic images. The one that I remember to this day was my Sesame Street one that I really, really enjoyed. And this one, though, it doesn't clip in. You would actually place it onto a table or something, and then using the ViewMaster and the appropriate application, it would be augmented reality. So you would actually look through the ViewMaster, look at the card, and then you would be able to see things like, I don't know, San Francisco or the land of dinosaurs, and you'd be able to point to a certain point in this augmented reality and kind of zoom in and look at the different dinosaurs. Or if you're looking at San Francisco, you could go into Alcatraz and look in a prison cell and things like that. So this is definitely very much reimagined to the new age of technology and taking advantage of the devices that we already have. The VR infused ViewMaster is going to run you $30. It's coming out later on this year, and I think it only comes with one card, but you can buy 4 more cards for only $15. And the actual VR is not this cardboard, but it is it's actually made of plastic. So these are all the different ViewMasters that came out. So that's what. Yeah, I don't know if they were called ViewMaster. There's the ViewMaster down there at the bottom. Yeah, I had one of those. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know, like, I was kind of hoping the price point would be a little bit better because if you think about it, you can get a ViewMaster look-alike for less than that right now. If all you need to do is download the application and buy these cards, you've kind of beat the system, and you're kind of not necessarily using the whole Mattel ecosystem that they want you to use. But even still, man, this is pretty freaking cool. And I think all of us knew that this was coming because of the press invite. They made it kind of obvious that they were working on some sort of ViewMaster product. I'm not sure why it's coming out in October, like why they're waiting so long. But nevertheless, I mean, my question to you, though, Sean, this is very nostalgic for us, with obviously a new wave twist. But for the kids, I mean, when we were kids, we were 10, maybe younger when we were using this on a daily basis. Do you think that parents would be okay with giving up their phone to let their kids use this, or would that be an additional purchase of a phone just to use something like this? I don't know. I guess it comes down to the parent and your values of parenting and how much you want your kids to use your phone.
I was going to say, history has shown that the answer to both of those questions is yes. So
yeah, I mean, I think
answer, dude. Yes.
But the history now is I agree with you, but I also think a lot of parents that come into the locations that I deal with when they're looking for phones and tablets for their kids, their reasoning is because they always take my phone or they always take my tablet. or they always use my computer, and I want them to have their own, and they just want a low barrier of entry to be able to, for them to play Minecraft, or for them to be able to play Candy Crush, and now for them to do ViewMaster stuff. So are we is this going to kind of escalate a trend of even lesser inexpensive devices because we're catering these kind of high-end technology for little kids, and parents don't want to have to spend $200 for a phone on a contract just so they can use a ViewMaster? Or
No, if people want if their kids want to use the ViewMaster, they're going to use the ViewMaster.
Just don't buy them a ViewMaster. There you go. Problem solved.
If the kids don't know about it, then they're not going to use it. If the kids want to use it, they're going to use it. It's just that simple. All right, now Sony apparently is not giving up on the entire smart glass thing, the entire Google Eyewear, Google Glass idea. Looks like they are announcing an SDK available for developers for their SEDE1. SEDE1, not the SETI one, or the SETI? SETI1? SETI1? SETI, no, it's fine. The SEDE1. So it is a transparent lens headset that you will go ahead and wear, and with it you will be able to have like a on-screen display that will superimpose information in your field of view without, as what they're saying, half mirrors that may obstruct the user's vision. Now, this will be available in the US, France, Italy, Spain, Belgium, Netherlands, and Sweden starting next month. SDK today is available now. It'll come with a 3 megapixel image sensor, accelerometer, gyro, electric compass, and brightness sensor. And besides that, GPS and more. Very interesting thing is the battery. So apparently with the headset, they have this little cable that comes off to the side of it, which houses the battery compartment, and I think it houses the battery, the microphone, and like a speaker, or NFC, and like a touch sensor. So you're going to have this other part that's going to be there clipping onto your shoulder at all times. But it gives you an on-screen display that, as you can see in the video, what you're looking at. So if you want to look like the second Robin from Batman, or was that the third Robin? I don't know which one of the three. Or maybe the Robin from the Dark Knight Returns comic. Then here's something that you could definitely check out. Sony, if their SDK is available. Looks like the developer edition is going to only cost $840 in the United States, £520 in the UK, and about 670 euros in Europe, and only about 100,000 yen. So it won't set you back too much. Either way, another on-screen display. We'll see how this technology turns out. I'm still kind of questionable about whether this one's going to do any better than the last one, or if anyone's going to be able to get this technology right. With all the extra hardware, it's going to be hard for me to see people really want to go for it. But what do you think, Tony?
I'm very questionable about this. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, the thing about the promo video that they sent out, the girl's wearing the glasses crooked. I mean, come on, the production assistant couldn't say, okay, cut. Can you fix those glasses on your nose because it's crooked? And some guy in San Francisco Bay Area is going to notice that, and it's going to bother him. Second of all, like you said, Sean, there's that additional puck that you clip onto your lapel or whatever. And I know this is a developer preview, so I'm going to try and not bash it. But I don't know. It seems that Sony was kind of rushed this out for some reason, because as much as Google Glass was panned, they did get everything into the glass part. Like, they got everything onto the head. And maybe this just has a much better battery than Google Glass, and that's the reason why they need the whole big thing. Having the information, the augmented reality information, kind of being right in your vision, that really doesn't bother me as much, because you can still see past it. There's already cars out there that have, projection screens of your speedometer and things like that going onto your screen. You can kind of see past it, just like pilots do when they're in their cockpits and stuff like that. So that's not an issue for me. But this is just Sony's first iteration of this particular product. It's going to be interesting to see if developers who try to make this work on the Google Glass development platform, if they say, oh, this is better for some reason, like I don't see what makes this better than Google Glass, because it's still attacking the same thing that Google Glass did. it doesn't physically look any better, and to a certain degree, one could argue that the ecosystem is going to be much smaller. I mean, a Google Glass developer really only wants to, I would assume that a Google Glass developer wants to develop on a platform where everybody is, and not to say that there can't be competition out there. I want competition, and Sony's a big name to have that competition, especially alongside with their Project Morpheus with their actual VR stuff that they're doing. But does that tie into it at all? I don't know. So only time will tell, obviously. But at first glance, I was a little cringy when I saw this.
All right, now Apple has been granted a patent for a video headset. Now, this is just a patent. That means there could be a possible product involved here coming in the future, or not, who knows. But what this patent pretty much is some type of headset that you would set on your face. You would slide your iPhone or iPod into this video, and then you get some type of picture-in-picture mode that users will be able to see while keeping an outside view of their surroundings on the outside. So it's I'm still trying to imagine this because I keep looking at like, you mean you look at this and do you quite understand exactly how they're trying to, how this is different from a standard headset here, Tony? Just trying to understand this patent.
This is like the Gear VR.
Yeah, so is there something special about this that I'm not seeing that seems unique? Because honestly, it doesn't look anything special at all.
No, I mean, the technology might be a little different. They obviously have a patent that nobody else has used, so or I don't know if someone else has used it or not. This is a patent that they filed for 7 years ago, okay, and it was finally like signed on. It's like, yeah, fine, Apple, you have it. So now they have it. They've been kind of leaning on it for all this time. What they're gonna do with it, who knows? I mean, like we just talked about the Mattel thing with Google. That is going to be opened up to iPhone users, but that's specific to Mattel stuff. Like you don't. There's not a bunch of Google Cardboard apps in the iOS App Store. Although I think the iPhone can work with Google Cardboard as long as you use the Chrome browser because of WebGL. But with Apple and their infinite wisdom of really good screen quality as well as very good camera sensors, they might be able to pull off something that these other devices just can't. From what we see in this patent, that is definitely an old phone, but the fact is everything is going to be a lot more miniaturized. I'm assuming that the headset doesn't look as thick as that one on the left-hand side there, but we definitely need more players in this VR game, and whether it's coming from Facebook, Google, or Apple, or Microsoft with their HoloLens, I'm excited to see like what kind of wins this race, or if there's no one outspoken winner, or if they all have like their benefits, just like how the phones have their benefits, and some work better for others versus this is just the best. So, but yeah, go Apple.
All right, so Tony, you have a cyber crime ring here. The very, very interesting. Looks like a cybercrime thing happening here.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the security, not company, but they are antivirus security software called Kaspersky?
I have.
Yeah, so it was created by a Russian dude named, I want to call him Ivan Kaspersky, but I don't think that's his name, Eugene Kaspersky. And in any event, a bank, an unknown bank, contacted Kaspersky saying, hey, we've been having some issues because a bunch of our ATMs are just randomly spewing out money. And Kaspersky went in there and they found out that a multinational gang of cybercrimes have stolen approximately, $1 billion in as many as 100 separate financial institutions around the world for about 2 years. The way that they did this was they essentially had a RAT, which is an acronym for some like remote access Trojan, I believe. and they sent emails to employees of the bank, kind of disguising themselves as, "Hey, Bill, check out this." Like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And it was like a funny video of a dog jumping off a bridge or something. Oh, it's kind of morbid. But they looked at it. But in that particular email, there was malware which gave a backdoor to these cyber criminals, and thusly they were able to remotely turn on the webcams. All these webcams that are surrounding me, they were all able to turn on the webcams of the bank employees, and through the webcams they were able to see the bank's employees kind of everyday daily schedule. Like, okay, at 3 o'clock he goes to break, at 2:45 this happens, and they were able to kind of pinpoint systematically, not just spewing out the money. The spewing out the money part was more of a distraction, but they were wiring money out of accounts into dummy accounts up to about $10 million. And for whatever reason, this transference of money didn't warrant any kind of red flag. They were able to do it under the noses of all these banks and everything. And yeah, it's pretty crazy and amazing at the same time, because usually, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a bank robber for any means, but usually you don't go to the bank to take the money. We've seen too many instances where bank robbers, they go to the bank and they don't get their money because bad stuff happens. But usually you get the money that's on the way to the bank, or get the money that's coming out of the bank, the armed car and everything. But I don't know, I've been watching too much Heat. But
Dude, I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about, bro?
but
I don't hang out and wait for armored cars. You serious, bro? Serious?
well, how do you rob banks, Sean?
I play Payday and I just live that way. I'm not gonna do it in real life, crazy. That's what video games are for.
Yeah, so these banks, the cyber crimes are from Europe, Russia, Ukraine, as well as China. The banks themselves are around the world. And so, yeah, if you happen to walk past an ATM and it's spewing out money, first off, I would say do the right thing, because usually the ATMs themselves have like webcams, and I don't know, if you take the money, they could say you're stealing it. I'm just saying, or cover your face. I don't know. But the second thing, what? The second thing is, yeah, I'm sure they fixed this by now, but it's just an amazing thing that.
No, they didn't. They said
they haven't fixed it yet?
said at the time of that article they have not fixed this yet. That the Trojan that's hurting the financial institutions and not the regular folks is still in there. Probably so deep in their system that they.
Okay, so this came out on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this particular article, and I think it was Sunday. Kaspersky went crowdsourcing and said, "Hey, can anyone help us out with this? Because we need help." And I think they were able to get some help from the hacker community, the white hat hacker community, to kind of fix this. So if anybody out there that's watching or listening, if you want to email us and say that, yeah, they fixed it, comments at lazytechguys.com. But I didn't put this in the article here, but Kaspersky also found that a bunch of wireless routers and like hard drives from Seagate and Western Digital had hidden code put there by the NSA to spy on people. You hear about that?
No.
That's crazy. So these were like hard drives sold in particular countries. So if you go to your Best Buy here in California, you're going to be fine. Just go hog wild and spend money. But in particular places like Yemen or Russia, if you were to buy these hard drives there, they would somehow have these additional, kind of codes that would be able to not just see what you're doing, but also send back the information to the NSA. So if you have bad things on that hard drive, they would be able to see it. And Kaspersky found that out too. So good on you, Kaspersky. You did two things this weekend, and I went to an amusement park. But yeah, cool.
There you go. Awesome. Now, let's see here. Now, let's get to something serious. Everyone, when someone is not with us anymore, what do you do with their Facebook account? That's a question that has loomed over the tech industry for years upon years. And it looks like Facebook has finally decided to create what they are dubbing as legacy contacts to manage a person after the post-human Oh, God, I can't even get this word anyway. So it looks like you can now design what happens to your account or who can control your account when you pass away. Tony, is this what you've been asking for from Facebook after all these years, or just to see what's in your friends' feeds, everything instead of what they filtered?
Yeah, I'm actually attempting to go to my Facebook account just to see if one of my friends that unfortunately passed last year, if his account is still um, even even up, and I don't think it is. So,
Like before, you just send an email, and then you send an email, hey, this blah blah blah, this person, and then you could get in there and kill it. But other people usually leave it up there because it's in the way of memory for what they are and telling by people, hey, this person and what they've done in their life.
yeah, so I'm actually looking at right now, and so when somebody passes, um, you can change their account to memorialize them. So if you look at not the TechCrunch article, sorry, the Wall Street Journal article, you'll if you go to the person's Facebook page, you'll have their Facebook image, and they'll have their cover photo, and right above their name, it'll say remembering. So you'll kind of know at a glance that this particular person had passed on. My friend, we haven't done that yet, but it would allow you to still see the images that they put into their photo albums that they made public to their friends and family. It would still allow you to post and everything. But with this idea of a legacy contact, it's kind of like an emergency contact, wherein that if you pass, um, let's just say this ephemerally. John passes, and Steve is his legacy contact. Steve would then contact Facebook, and with the proof of a death certificate or an obituary saying that, yeah, John did pass, Facebook would then open up his account to Steve, and then Steve can more than likely put this in a memorializing kind of way where you can still look at the account, delete certain things if you want, or it would allow that legacy contact to completely delete their Facebook entirely if they so choose to. So yeah, I mean this is a good thing. I mean Google, they have their own version of this. I don't think they call it legacy contact, but if you have a Google account, and you can set it so if you are inactive for a certain amount of time, like 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, Google will try to contact you through email and say, hey, you haven't been to your Google account. What's going on? And then if you still don't answer that, you have a pre-selected contact that Google would then say, hey, Steve left this, said that you can go to his account, so here's his Google account, and you as the predetermined contact can do whatever you want with all of his Google stuff. It's a little scary because if you're all in with Google, that's everything. It's freaking everything. But if it's a trusted contact, then there really shouldn't be any problem there. But yeah, it's a little morbid to talk about. But as we get into more so into the electronic age, especially into the social network age, it's one of those things that you have to kind of consider. Like okay, I have to kind of tie up all my loose ends, and one of those loose ends is eventually going to be social networking. I was talking to a colleague of mine, and he was saying how, he was looking at his friends' Facebook, and he noticed that one of his friends, was into, I think he was into fishing or something, and then so he asked his friend's friend a little bit more about fishing in Northern California and stuff, and his friend said, "There's no point asking him. He's actually passed on." So it's like this would be a method for you, especially if you don't know the person. Say, "Oh, this person passed on," so you don't feel like a jerk when you're trying to talk to him like a living person. So, yeah, I'm not on a fence. I think this is a good thing. I don't think anyone can really take advantage of this because you have to show proof to Facebook. I just hope Facebook doesn't go as far as saying, like they do with the whole real name thing, where you have to show not only a death certificate, but you also have to show, a notarized piece of information or
Oh
an obituary, like
God.
Social Security. Like if you have to do all of that to prove the person has
If
passed
you gotta
on.
do notary, that sucks.
Well, I mean, they do that. Yeah, I'm not putting it past Facebook to do something stupid like that because they already do that with their proof of real name. There was an article that went out last week where there was a Native American woman, and I think her last name was like a Longfoot or something. It was something that is not that's not Anglo-Saxon enough to warrant that. Okay, that is a real name. It was a Native American name. It was like long sitting bear, something like that. And I'm not
Right.
trying to be,
Right.
disingenuous, but Facebook, blocked her account, and they said we need you to prove to us that you are you. And she sent in a bunch of information, and then when they said, well, we need to see your Social Security info and your credit card, she was like, this is too much. Like, I just want to use Facebook to see my friends and share pictures. Like, why do I have to prove myself all this? So that's if they do that for a real name. Who's to say that they won't do something like that for someone who's passed?
There you go.
Right?
Good point. Maybe that means they'll just stop being jerks about it. I mean, who knows. All right.
Hopefully.
So, and I know a lot of people with names like that, by the way. So, because where I live up here, yeah, there's a lot of folks up here, and I'm like, oh yeah, there you go.
It's true. Yeah.
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 All right. Now, the FAA and drones. Now, we've been talking about drones and about the history about drones and whether we're going to see them in our lifetime.
Hey, Sean.
Whether
Hey,
they're going
Sean.
to fly them.
Hey, Sean. We've been droning on about drones. Yeah.
So as we start talking about drones, looks like the FAA, Federal Aviation Association, or I think that's what it means for. Anyway, they have proposed rules to finally control what was going to happen over our heads, and looks like we're going to get some drones, but not other drones. So what drones we getting?
Well, according to FA, remember I called them that before? According to FA, commercial drones. This is okay. Let's talk about drones first. Standard drones. Basic rules of droning. These will apply to drones that weigh less than 55 pounds. You have to pass a knowledge test, but you do not have to do a practical test, which I guess it's good because it's basically mean you don't have to do a driver's test. You just have to kind of pass the written exam, and you will be vetted by the TSA. And you'll have to take a recurring test every 24 months and be at least 17 years old. So yeah, if you're going to be using this, and it meets all these requirements, then you'll be good. The thing is, what a lot of people are wondering is how is this going to work with commercial drones? Like, I don't know, Amazon's attempt at having drones pass through your door to drop off, I don't know, watch bands and toilet paper rolls and things like that. Commercial drones will only be allowed to fly under 500 feet, no faster than 100 miles per hour. They'll have to be registered with the FAA. They are prohibited to fly over people, and visibility has to be over 3 miles. They can be drone autonomously, but with regulations stated that they have to have a line of sight, maximum height, all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a lot of barriers to entry for things like the Amazon drone to really even work. So if you're just droning because you love the world of droning, keep on droning and drone on. But if you're planning on transporting things with the drone, just be aware that you would just have to do this kind of in the middle of a field to another field within 3 miles, because that's really all you'll be able to do. So, Sean, do you think that this is a bad thing, or do you think that this is going to be overturned? Because this is a proposed rule. This hasn't been put into full effect, but we've talked about the possibility of drones become part of our livelihood, and it's kind of a scary thought. But back in the day, which was a Wednesday, cars were kind of a scary thought too, and now they're everywhere. Do you think that this kind of idea of drones being more dangerous than they might be will go by the wayside, or is it going to be as strict as it is right now?
Immediately when drones are flying around, like when you're walking down the street and those people are trying to sell you those helicopters and they're zipping them up in the air and they're flying down and they're zipping them up in the air and they're flying down. And people tend to react like kind of just, hey, just duck out the way a little bit. What do you think when there's going to be more things flying overhead, what people are going to do? It's just going to be, and that is mainly the generation that we are at. The younger generation, a younger generation that gets used to crap flying over their heads all day long, well, they won't have a problem with it. We're just not used to seeing it, and I think it's just I'm happy they're rolling it out nice and slow just to help people's perception of being able to deal with such technology and such things, being able to slowly cope with it. So no, it's fine. I'm not surprised it's done in baby steps. I kind of expected that, and I just hope that the technology is just safe enough and nothing just starts falling out of the sky. So essentially, that's just the one thing you got to worry about. It's like please just be good stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to use Amazon Prime Air, I guess you got to stay in Australia.
For
Because
now.
apparently Australia doesn't have these stringent rules like we do.
Dang it! Anyway, so, but you can't buy a video game for over the age of 15. I mean, that's right. You can't buy a video game that is rated for a person 15 or older in Australia. Grand Theft Auto. You gotta import it in illegally. All right. Now with the drones, we end our show. We'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us. It was fun. It was great. This is when you start to like the Bing Cosby music in the background, slowing in the background. You say it's like you start singing some kind of like ballad. Anyway, all right. So, well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We give you some contact information, Tony. The contact information for us. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at comments@lazytechguys.com. You can give us a call at 707-722-5299. We can be found on social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. If you look up Lazy Tech Guys. And our YouTube account is Lazy Tech TV. It's a little bit different, so remember that. Our website, lazytechguys.com, that's the one you want to use to go ahead and jump right on. We have reviews and quite a bit of stuff going up there, so definitely want to stay on top of it, and you'll learn about all kind of cool stuff, like, I don't know, headphones, Bluetooth speakers, and stuff we use on a daily basis. So. By the way, what headphones are you using there? I don't recognize those. What are those?
These are the Zorro 2s. I actually did a review of them. They are on our YouTube channel as well as I think they're on our website. Yeah, I think so. They're real good. They, you know what? When I did the review, I did it with contacts, and they're fine. They're one of the best headphones that I've tried for the price point that they are. But when I was wearing glasses, the last time that I wore these, when we did a podcast with Rad, they started to really pinch. Like in the beginning of the first like half an hour was fine, but then they started to really pinch, and it was really irritating. So that's one thing. If you wear glasses, these might not be the best solution for you unless you're gonna just take your glasses off. Otherwise, they're not noise canceling. But they are great for what they do. They're very good. Great, very good fidelity. You hear all the highs, the lows, the mids at a good level, and yeah, very happy with them. But yeah, so in regards to like pricing and everything, that number eludes me at the moment. But go to our Facebook, and then go to our website. That will then send you to our YouTube channel to look at the video. See? Yeah, do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. Lazy Tech Guys. Anything else real quick, Tony, or is that pretty much...
No, that's pretty much it. We will see you guys next week, and I have dishes to do.
Absolutely. Well, no dishes here. Well, I'm lying if I say I didn't have dishes. I always have dishes to do. Anyway, guys, girls, aliens, chickens, and raccoons, everyone out there, thank you again for hanging out with us. We're happy you did. Come hang out with us next week. We'll love to hang out with you and bring your friends. All talk tech together. It'd be great. So, see you later. We're out.
Peace.
Mm-hmm.